Hey there, fellow gardeners and farmers. Today, we're diving into something that's at the heart of successful growing: irrigation. You know, getting water to your plants might seem simple, but trust me, doing it right can make the difference between an okay harvest and an amazing one. In recent years, we've all seen how water has become more precious than ever. From California's ongoing drought challenges to global water conservation efforts, smart irrigation isn't just nice to have, it's becoming essential. Did you know that agriculture uses about 70% of the world's fresh water? That's why choosing the right irrigation method for your crops isn't just about better yields. It's about being responsible with one of our most valuable resources. Whether you're tending to a small backyard garden or managing acres of farmland, understanding how to water your crops efficiently can save you time, money, and a whole lot of precious water. The best part? Today's irrigation techniques have come a long way from just spraying water and hoping for the best. Now, let me walk you through what we'll cover in today's guide. We've broken this down into 4 main sections to make it super easy to follow. First, we'll explore why different crops need different watering approaches, because let's face it, your tomatoes don't need the same care as your corn. Then, we'll dive into various irrigation techniques, from high-tech drip systems to traditional sprinklers, helping you understand what works best for specific situations. After that, we'll look at how to maximize your crop yield through smart irrigation practices. Finally, we'll peek into the future of irrigation technology and what it means for farmers like you. So, grab your notebook, because we're about to transform the way you think about watering your crops. Trust me, your plants and your water bill will thank you later. Understanding different crop needs. All right, let's dive into what different crops really need when it comes to water. Think of your garden or farm as a neighborhood. Every plant is like a unique family with its own specific water needs. Some crops are like that neighbor who's always thirsty, while others prefer to keep things on the dry side. Let's start with our water-loving crops. These are your heavy drinkers. Rice, for example, needs constant flooding and can use up to 5,000 liters of water to produce just 1 kilogram of grain. Sugarcane and taro are other crops that thrive in wet conditions. Then we have leafy greens like lettuce and spinach. They need consistent moisture to stay crisp and tasty, typically requiring watering every day or two during growing season. Moving to our middle ground crops, we've got plants like tomatoes, corn, and soybeans. These guys are pretty adaptable but still need careful attention. Tomatoes, for instance, need moderate but consistent moisture. Too much water and you'll end up with split fruits. Too little and you'll get blossom and rot. Corn typically needs about 1 to 2 inches of water per week, depending on your soil type. Now let's talk about our drought-resistant champions. These are crops like olives, grapes, and many varieties of beans. They've evolved to handle drier conditions and actually produce better flavors with less water. Did you know that some wine growers intentionally stress their grapes with reduced water to concentrate the flavors? But here's where it gets interesting. It's not just about the type of crop. Your local climate plays a huge role too. The same tomato plant will need more frequent watering in hot, sunny Arizona than in cooler, humid Oregon. Soil type is another game changer. Sandy soil drains quickly and needs more frequent watering, while clay soil holds moisture longer, but needs to be watered more slowly to avoid runoff. And don't forget about growth stages. Most crops need more water during critical periods like flowering and fruit development. Take corn, for example. It's especially thirsty during the silking and tasseling stages, and cutting back on water during this time can reduce your yield by up to 50%. Understanding these differences is crucial because it helps us choose the right irrigation method for each crop. After all, you wouldn't use a fire hose to water your houseplants, right? In the next section, we'll explore different irrigation techniques and match them to the specific crop needs we've just discussed. But first, remember, the key to successful irrigation isn't just about how much water you use, it's about using it wisely. Popular irrigation techniques. Now that we understand what our crops need, let's explore the different ways we can get that precious water to them. Think of irrigation methods like tools in your gardening toolkit. Each one has its perfect use. Let's start with drip irrigation, the precision champion of water delivery. Imagine having tiny water faucets right at each plant's base, delivering water exactly where it's needed. This system uses special tubes with small holes or drippers that release water slowly and steadily. It's absolutely perfect for crops like tomatoes, peppers, and strawberries. The best part? Drip irrigation can save up to 70% more water compared to traditional methods. Plus, since water doesn't splash on the leaves, you'll have fewer problems with fungal diseases. The only downside? The initial setup cost can be higher, and those tiny holes can sometimes clog if your water's not filtered properly. Next up, sprinkler irrigation. Think of it as creating artificial rain for your crops. We've got several types here. Center pivot systems, those huge rotating arms you might have seen in aerial photos of farmland. Impact sprinklers, and oscillating sprinklers. These are fantastic for crops that grow close together like corn, wheat, and soybeans. Sprinklers can cover large areas quickly and work well in most soil types. However, keep in mind that on windy days, you might lose some water to evaporation, and water on leaves in hot sun can sometimes lead to leaf burn. Now, let's talk about flood irrigation. The oldest method in the book, but still useful for certain situations. This is where you basically create a controlled flood in your field, letting water flow naturally across the land. It's still commonly used for rice paddies, cotton fields, and some fruit trees. While it's simple and low-tech, flood irrigation uses a lot of water and only works well on level ground. But here's a modern twist. Some farmers are now using laser-leveled fields and sophisticated gates to make flood irrigation more efficient. Here's an interesting fact. Many modern farms are actually combining these methods. For example, an orchard might use drip irrigation for young trees, but switch to micro-sprinklers as the trees mature. Or a vegetable farm might use drip irrigation for tomatoes and peppers, but sprinklers for their sweet corn. One of the newest trends we're seeing is subsurface drip irrigation. Imagine drip irrigation but underground. This method is gaining popularity because it delivers water directly to the root zone while keeping the soil surface dry, which helps prevent weed growth and reduces evaporation even further. Remember, choosing the right irrigation method isn't just about what grows best. It's also about your specific situation. You need to consider things like your water source, energy costs, labor availability, and even your local climate. In our next section, we'll look at how to fine-tune whichever system you choose to get the absolute best results from your crops. But first, here's a quick tip. Before investing in any irrigation system, take some time to observe your land during different weather conditions. It'll help you make a much better choice. Optimizing irrigation for maximum yield. All right, let's talk about getting the most bang for your buck, or should I say, the most crop for your drop. Having the right irrigation system is great, but knowing how to optimize it? That's where the magic really happens. First up, let's talk about soil moisture, your plant's water bank account. Gone are the days of just sticking your finger in the soil to check if it's dry. Today's farmers are using smart soil moisture sensors that give real-time readings right to their phones. These little devices can tell you exactly how much water is available at different soil depths. Imagine knowing precisely when your corn needs water, not just guessing. Some advanced sensors can even predict when your crops will need water based on weather forecasts and plant growth stages. But here's where it gets really cool. Smart irrigation controllers are revolutionizing the game. These systems can automatically adjust your watering schedule based on weather conditions. Too hot? They'll increase watering. Just had rain? They'll skip the next scheduled irrigation. Some systems even use satellite data and AI to create super precise watering maps for your fields. For example, if one section of your field is shadier or has different soil, the system adjusts automatically. Now, let me share some practical tips that can make a huge difference. First, timing is everything. Watering early in the morning or late in the evening reduces evaporation loss. You can save up to 25% of water just by avoiding midday irrigation. Here's another pro tip. Use mulch around your plants. It's like putting a blanket over your soil that keeps moisture in and weeds out. For drip irrigation users, here's a game changer: pulse irrigation. Instead of one long watering session, break it up into shorter bursts. This gives water time to spread through the soil and helps prevent runoff. Many farmers have reported using 30% less water while maintaining or even improving yields with this method. Speaking of soil, different types need different approaches. If you're working with sandy soil, more frequent but shorter watering sessions work best. For clay soil, slower, less frequent watering prevents waterlogging. And if you're dealing with sloped land, consider using pressure-compensating drippers to ensure even water distribution. Here's something many people overlook: regular system maintenance. A single clogged dripper or broken sprinkler head can waste gallons of water and leave some plants thirsty while overwatering others. Make it a habit to check your system at least monthly during growing season. The latest trend we're seeing is the use of drone technology with thermal imaging cameras. These can spot irrigation problems before they become visible to the naked eye, showing you exactly which parts of your field might be under stress. Combined with precision irrigation systems, this technology lets you apply water exactly where it's needed, when it's needed. Remember, the goal isn't just to keep plants alive, it's to help them thrive while using water responsibly. By monitoring, adjusting, and using technology wisely, you can dramatically improve your crop yield while actually using less water. Now that's what I call smart farming. The future of irrigation. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today in our journey through modern irrigation techniques. Let me tell you, the future of farming is looking both high-tech and water-wise. Let's quickly recap what we've learned. We started by understanding that different crops have unique water needs, from our thirsty rice paddies to our drought-tolerant olive trees. We explored various irrigation methods, from the precision of drip systems to the broad coverage of sprinklers, and saw how each one has its perfect place in modern agriculture. Then we dove into smart farming techniques, where sensors and technology are helping farmers make every drop count. But here's what really excites me about the future of irrigation. We're seeing incredible innovations that were science fiction just a few years ago. Imagine AI-powered systems that can predict exactly when and where your crops need water, drones that can spot irrigation problems before they affect your yields, and robots that can adjust water flow based on individual plant needs. Some cutting-edge farms are already using self-adjusting irrigation systems that can save up to 50% more water while improving crop yields. You know what's really amazing? These technologies aren't just for big commercial farms anymore. Whether you're tending to a small backyard garden or managing hundreds of acres, there's a water-smart solution that fits your needs and budget. Here's my challenge to you. Start your water-wise journey today. If you're just beginning, try setting up a simple drip irrigation system in your garden. If you're already using irrigation, maybe it's time to explore soil moisture sensors or smart controllers. Every step toward more efficient irrigation helps not just your plants, but our planet too. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated with more farming tips and tricks. Share this video with fellow growers who might benefit from these irrigation insights. And hey, drop a comment below telling us about your irrigation experiences or questions. I'd love to hear what's working in your garden. Remember, the future of farming isn't just about growing more. It's about growing smarter. Together, we can create a more sustainable and productive future for agriculture. Thanks for watching our channel Smart Farming Inside, and I'll see you in the next video.